What's up, Collector fam? It's your boy Tony the Toy Rat. Now I decided to go live because why the hell not? Today I want, and I hope you'll join me as I walk through everything I unboxed from Diamond Select Toys in 2023. I realized my glasses sometimes made me look older than I am, or maybe not. It doesn't really matter. I need them to see now. So I'm acknowledging my age. So thanks for joining me. Again, this is Tony the Toy Rat. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of stuff, and you would hardly believe that I opened the vast majority of these things in 2023 with my friends at Diamond Select Toys. So I have been extremely fortunate. You can see around the room that I've been blessed. I'm going to do my best to try and show you everything. I don't know if you guys will have questions about it later on, but I'll try and tackle them after the fact because I can't do two things at once. I'm just not that multi-talented yet, you know? And I find that the hardest thing about going live is trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to say next. I don't know if that's everybody else. So with no further ado, I'm going to start from the bottom here, which we had some minor successes last year with showing everybody all of the Hulks that they could possibly get. Before I jump into that, I'm going to tell you guys real quick, why do I like getting Diamond Select Toys? There's a ton of different manufacturers out there who are putting out some really fantastic work. I think when I am looking at toys overall, it's about quality and price point. And Diamond Select Toys seems to hit all those notes way better than most of any of the other manufacturers I've been able to get my hands on. Mind you, we're talking comparatively on price point and quality, okay? Price point and quality. What is affordable to your average collector? Tony the Toy Rat is an average collector. You can see around the room here, I'm no billionaire, millionaire dude. And truthfully, I'm not really interested in spending hundreds and hundreds upon thousands of dollars per statue because there's so many. You know, there's like, where do you cut the line off? So there are some people who only collect like really awesome Batman stuff and or really awesome X-Men or really awesome just specific X-Men like Wolverine. I want them all. I'm greedy and I want them all. I'm a toy rat. So there you go. So with no further ado, let's start with the Hulks. Down here, I'm going to show you one of my favorites from last year, the Immortal Hulk. Now, I really need to take some shadow band off of this stuff right here, but I may not be doing it the justice I need to do in terms of dynamic statue. Yeah, no, the Spider-Man that's hanging on the top of his head, I did that for scale. He just kind of sits there and he rides on the back of the Immortal Hulk here. And I leave him on the shelf, and it's just really cool to remind everybody what the Hulk size really should be comparatively to most of the rest of the characters in the Marvel Universe. Spider-Man just happens to be my absolute favorite. I've got more of him around here than anything else. But take a look at that, man. The cavernous musculature that they laid out here. Super dynamic pose. He is running. He looks like he's about to do one of those Super Hulk jumps. Jumps over a building or flies through a mountain or destroys a tank or something in that order of magnitude. They did a fantastic job with the pants. Don't get me started about Hulk pants. We really need to develop some science around pants that grow with your ass. And I think it might do well for me as well. I might get a pair. But spandex will only go so far. You can always tell the Hulk because his pants are ripped all over the place, and I don't know how they stay on at all. He really should be running around naked. So this is the Immortal Hulk from Diamond Select Toys. And boy, I mean, just look at that portrait. Isn't that portrait cool? It's got sort of a Frankenstein-esque haircut going on, but I really do enjoy this particular statue. It's fantastic. One that's near and dear to my heart because I was able to make friends with the incomparable Jason Keith, who is the guy who turned the Hulk red for Marvel. And thanks to my friends at Fayetteville Comic-Con for always bringing in some really great guests. I was able to meet him, and not only was I able to meet him, but I was able to meet Dexter Vines, the artist who drew for number 1, number 2, and number 3 several of the Red Hulk statue. So I was able to get both of those guys to sign the statue. So there's one of them there. And the other one is right here on his leg. So Dexter Vines got some premium sign territory here right on the leg. And he matched the color of the Red Hulk, which is why it's hard to see. But that is Dexter Vines. And this is the Red Hulk. Now, originally I bought this guy myself and I complained. He's got a little bit of wobble to him when you set down. So I literally have to have this this little piece of loose leaf paper set under one side of him so that it doesn't wiggle wobble as I set him back down. But what's cool about that is that along with my really cool statue, I've also got the sign number 1 from Dexter Vines and Jason Keat, which is so cool. There's really I geek out over the comic book stuff because that's the way I grew up and that's why I love these things so much. But let's take a look at that. I mean, right around 65, I think this still is for the Red Hulk. Pretty cool statue. What I don't like about it is it's basically mirrored in the green version of that. So I'm going to hold him up here and grab the Green Hulk. So Green Hulk, oh, you can see, guys, there's very little differences between these two. Even in the bases themselves, they're slightly colored differently, but in the statue posing, it's like they're having a pose off on stage down to the grimacing faces. You see those? But they're still cool, man. And if you need the Hulks, the original Hulk, the Incredible Hulk here, and the Red Hulk, you got to kind of have them together. I could not have one and not the other. I'm a little disappointed that for the sculpture, they decided to go with the exact same stance. I don't have the Gray Hulk, but the Gray Hulk actually has the exact same stance. So there's a gray, a green, and a red, and all three of them mirror the posing that you have on here. So I mean, I think it's cool. Obviously, because I love them and I have them here. I'm gonna put those down, and I'm gonna skip around a little bit because this was the latest that I unboxed, the latest Hulk, which isn't the newest Hulk, but isn't it the coolest Hulk? It is so damn cool. This is, in terms of the PVC things that you can get from Diamond Select Toys, this had the best base so far as on Sakar. You can tell there's a lot of things happening from what's happening down here on ground. I always complain some of the Diamond Select Toys are a little too heavily into putting rocks on the ground, but this made absolute sense in terms of the Gladiator Hulk running around, and I really, really enjoy the sculpt on it. Look at the face on that. Look at the face on that. He also comes with some cool removable weapons. I'm not going to take them out right now, but you can see I'm moving around with my hands here. They came separate in the box. You had to put them on the statues. With Diamond Select Toys, it's kind of rare on the statues that you're going to get another piece that you have to add to it, like magnets and things like that, but it does occur on the higher end stuff. PVC, not so much, so this is a PVC. Gladiator Hulk, I mean, the thing sits up. Look at my head. I got a big head, but it's kind of ginormous. Behind me here, I've left 18 inches of room. Was that 18 or 24? 24 inches of room so that I could have up to 17 inches or 18 inches of statue and head height above it. And I'll show you why I did that initially. Because outside of this super cool Gladiator Hulk, also Diamond Select Toys, and mind you, this one might be a little higher price than your 65, might be upwards of 100 or so. I haven't gone to look today at what the new pricing schema is, but every bit of worth your money. If you're a huge Hulk fan, you can't do without the Gladiator Hulk. Unfortunately for all of us who are huge Hulk fans, we know there's probably like 10,000 more Hulks that are going to come out. But that just means that we can collect them and be in love with every last one of them. So, as far as the Hulks are concerned, I'm going to show you what I call the pièce de résistance. The pièce de résistance is the Incredible Hulk. Now, this is my abs. This might be my favorite piece in the room, but it's so heavy. It is so heavy. It is so big and so heavy. This is the one we labeled at 17 inches tall. But look at the dynamic pose of this Incredible Hulk, man. It's a full resin statue, full resin. There isn't a hollow point on this thing. I feel like he weighs a good 30 pounds at least. I don't want to be a wimp. I should be able to hold 30 pounds up without screaming and yelling into my my recording apparatus here. But the paint job is amazing. They've got these really cool light feathered in yellows where the veining is happening. It's not everywhere. It's just subtle enough that it gets you to look harder. I complain about a rock base, but in this instance, you can see he's raising up above and his knee is smashing into rock as you go through. You checking that out? And then look at that face and his arms, the musculature. Let me turn him around because I don't know if you're ever going to get another. Look at that. Look at that. That is amazing. That is so amazing. Here again, we've got really tight fitting pants, which let's be real, unless we come up with some better type of leggings for the Hulk, this doesn't work. But I still love it. It's character accurate and it's formidable. I put this up against most of the higher end XM Prime 1 statues on the market. It's fantastic. This is the Incredible Hulk. Whew. Let me slide this over here. And I was really fortunate to get number 672 of 3000. So I also love that kind of thing. When it comes with the certificate of authenticity and you know, hey man, I mean, even though this is an awesome statue, they only made a few of them. A few is in 3000, but a few nonetheless. So I actually happen to have one. Those are the Hulks. Now you may have noticed I didn't pick one up in the back because he's not a Diamond Select guy, but I still love him. I like to refer to him as my action figure, Hulk. And he's more of a Solomon Grundy type. And you can see that from his face there. Really low sloping jaw. Really caveman, head with the sloping forehead like a caveman used to be. I don't like to, he's fully articulatable. Ginormous feet. Giant for an action figure. And he stands and poses really well. Now, I don't buy a whole lot of the action figures anymore because if I get caught playing with the toys, it just looks weird as opposed to me just staring at the toys. That might not be true either. But, I mean, I love to take a look at this comparatively from an action figure standpoint versus the statues. Because you can see how much effort they put into this one. There are pins in them, of course, That takes nothing away from this at all. They've got, his thumb is articulatable. And it's just rare that you have that much ability to flexibly move the character around from an action figure standpoint these days. So I really, really appreciate that. The only thing I might have loved better if that jaw opened up. Because he does look like he wants to say something. Hulk smash! So, this is the action figure. I'm calling him the Solomon Grundy version of my Hulks. That, my friends, rounds out the Hulks. But that doesn't round out the toys. So, like the rest of you, I'm more than just a Hulk fan. What I decided to do is on this side of the room, we would have Spider-Man and his Rouges. So, Rouges, and I guess there's a couple of his hero friends along here with us. So I'm going to just kind of run through all the ones I opened up. Remember, we're opening up or rediscussing the ones I opened up from Diamond Select Toys in 2023. We're going to start this way out, and this has no bearing on what time I actually opened them. If you guys want to see more about these things, I usually do a short and a long video, both of them discussing the merits of the statue, cost, where they originated from, and stuff like that. All right, Spider-Gwen. Okay. I think from a character accurate standpoint, they did an excellent job here. I think they really did. What about this statue I don't like is that. I almost wish they would have kind of tried to square it off a bit, because it's difficult if you're not aiming the statue directly at your angle of view here. Then you're not really able to turn it, because you get this, and your suspension of disbelief seems to be less. I won't say shattered, but I say less. But her pose is so cool. It's something that you would see her doing in the comic books. Here's a reference. I try to put the comic books and there, so we can take a look at the accuracy of the artwork, because it's all about the comic, everybody. These things don't exist without the artist. the writers, the inkers, and the publishers that actually put this out for us. So obviously, she's a Marvel, and this is a Diamond Select toy, and this is the character. And we're looking at Spider-Gwen, but we're also looking at the statue. So while I put this down, or put it back over here, she's extremely light. This is a PVC statue. There are no movable parts on her. It is very well detailed for who she is. Very slick, very sleek. I just am not the biggest fan of the corner. Unless, of course, like the Mutant Ninja Turtles, which we will get to in about an hour. I hope it doesn't take that long. You start to have bases that can connect to one another and create scenes. This is something I've advocated for a lot. And they just started doing some of that with our Mutant Ninja Turtles, like I said, we're going to see. All right, I'm going to try not to sweat. I'm drinking coffee and talking. Okay. Whew. This one is actually the Kingpin, but not the Kingpin that I would consider comic book Kingpin. This would be from the Daredevil series, so the Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin. Now, Kingpin, guys, is a huge character in the Marvel Universe, right? He is like Thanos on the street level for the Marvel Universe. That's how disruptive he is, especially within the Spider-Man, Daredevil, pantheon of characters that exist for Spider-Man. So this was designed, I believe, by my friend Rocco Tardamella, who happens to be one of the judges on the sculpt. And this is one of those bases that is not rocks. So the Kingpin is like standing outside, could be a bank, could be anywhere, and he's sort of pontificating. It looks like he's throwing his fist up, and he's actually got cameras on him, and he might be trying to sell that he should be the mayor of New York, or one of the storylines that the Kingpin has gone with. Super character accurate, but I would not say it matches the comic book. In the comic book, the Kingpin is like rotund. He's got a huge belly. Vincent D'Onofrio plays him excellently, but if you look at him from what I would expect the Kingpin to be, he'd have this, a lot more tummy, a lot more heft to him. You can see, again, I'll pull the comic book back out. Check out that neck. That's Alex Ross, and you don't get much more accurate when you're talking about character depiction than Alex Ross. So Alex Ross, the last couple of years, has gone through the entire collection of Marvel characters and redone paint for them, and I try and match those up wherever possible because I really like them. It's a light base. You can see all the pinpoints down here. This is not solid in any way, but he feels really solid. Comparatively on weight, she weighs, I would say, about a third of what he weighs, right? And that's probably because they wanted to give the gravitas, the weight to the old Kingpin. I love the fist up. I love the cane. I think it's about as good as you can get when trying to illustrate what was in the Daredevil movie or TV shows, and what will be back on Born Again. Hopefully they'll put him in the movies. All right? Okay, cool. Kingpin. Next up, Morbius. Okay. I think we can all agree that movie was a turgulous turd bomb from the toilet monster. They didn't do anything right where that's concerned. I don't want to spend my time picking apart the Morbius movie. Everyone already has done that. I will say, for the character in the comic books, this is really awesome. This does well. Now, he's not baring his teeth as much as I'd like, from a vampire perspective. I really would like that possibly a little bit more. But I like his stance. I like his winged costume. Again, that's character accurate, comic book accurate. And he's not located on rocks. He is on this menacing, demonic statue, gargoyle, which is obviously pinned to the side of a building somewhere. And he's overlooking what we expect to be some portion of the city. And I don't know, probably going to go eat somebody. I like it most when bad guys stay bad guys and good guys stay bad guys. Good guys stay good guys. I'll learn to talk eventually. I don't like when they take too many of our beloved bad guys and turn them into anti-heroes. I think that's like stupid. I wish Marvel would stick to the script, please, and go back to treating the characters like they were created, because those are the ones we know and love. I'm off the soapbox. This is Morbius. I love a lot about the statue, hated the movie, but I really love that it's one of the Spider-Man rogues. They did a fantastic job with his posing. I think, in terms of the way they sculpted his back, I think that's probably a little overkill on the muscle line side of things, but I appreciate where they went. And I really appreciate the detail that they paid to the gargoyle structure that he stands upon. Because you can spend a while, taking a look at the different aspects of what they pulled together. Hollow base on the bottom. Well, solid, but has a chunk out there. Sits without wobbling. So, Morbius, if you haven't got him, this was actually one of the less expensive ones. I'm not sure if you can actually still pick it up or not, but I would, because, hey, you can't have a Spider-Man Rogues shelf without it. So, here we go. I got to pick up a Morbius costume right now. I've got Mysterio behind him, and that's a... Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I opened this up later in the year, but I waited for it forever. And I know it's not new. I do. But Doctor Doom, as you will see if you're any kind of MCU fan, Doctor Doom is one of the baddies of the Marvel Universe that will never go away. He flips through the Avengers, he'll flip through Spider-Man, he'll flip through the Hulk, he'll flip through Fantastic Four. He runs through the entirety of the Marvel Universe. There isn't a place you won't see his fingerprint. And coming up, you're about to see him all over the MCU. I hope they do it well. So, this particular depiction, I think he is in the Savage Lands. Maybe because you see all of the dinosaur material laid out down here. Fossils broken down. And he's menacing even the bones by putting his foot on the head of a dead, I don't know what exact dinosaur that is. I'm not even gonna venture a guess. At the same time, take a look at his hands. Clearly he's charged with energy. Clearly he has power. So he runs science and the mystic ends of the world. And it is so cool to have this sculpt because they did such a good job with it. Not only does his metallic points look metallic, his face sculpt, I mean, the eyes are different. They're not supposed to be, not typically, excuse me, a round eye scenario. Usually they're more cut into metal. So to me, that's a little more menacing. I wouldn't have made this choice where it makes his eyes look more rounded and human. I digress. It's one of the small things. His cape is sort of flowy in the background. It's not rigid like some of the other. It's rigid to a point, but it's movable. You can see it's flexible. That's not the truth on the helmet, on the hood. That hood is fixed. That's not flexible. Okay? There are no moving parts that come with the piece. It is a hollow core base, but this is comic accurate to a fault. Again, I wouldn't have made this choice on the eyes that they made here, but I love the rest of what they did. This Doctor Doom sculpt is one of my favorite pieces in all of the Rogues. And if you're a fan of Marvel and you're a fan of Doctor Doom, this is the one that is the affordable one from Diamond Select Toys that I would absolutely recommend you getting. Here again, just because I mentioned it, here's the Doctor Doom comic book, and you can see the square out of the eyes. Alex Ross, remember, Mr. Specific. Now you look at the Doctor Doom, and those eyes are, there is a shield over them, and they're colored, and they're rounded out and more human. So, for accuracy's sake, they did a fantastic job, but I feel like they could have done slightly better with this guy here, but only because of the mask. So, boop. Cool. The best thing about nobody watching me is I can say whatever I want. Take a sip of coffee. All right, guys, keep going. Next up, the Rhino. Full resin. Full resin piece, guys. And this one is number 402 of 3,000. So this was opened up at Fayetteville Comic-Con. And it was compared to one of the local modelers out there, Lafayette Scale Modelers, who put together comic book kits. Yes, comic book kits still exist. And compared his Rhino to mine. And I'm going to say mine won. But you got to go check out the video for that one. It is on the channel. I love this pose, man. This is super cool. Unlike the Rhino, they tried to make an Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think it was. Terrible metallic take on it. This is the original rubber suit. Now, the one we compared it to had a zipper down the back. So it gave you the illusion that the person could step into this rubber suit. And therein lies some of the issue. But this is the Rhino. Look at that. Look at the smile. That's wild-eyed and crazy. Look at that. Look at that. He wants to smash. It looks like he's just about to. He's aiming his horn. He's dropped his shoulders. He's bent his knees. He's pushed back on the base. And let me show you what that looks like. Look at this. He's pushed back so hard, he's crushed the ground in two places because it's there again. Heavy as all get out. Check that out. Ooh, check that out. Excuse me. There you go. So it always matches it should always match anyway if it's authentic, what your certificate of authenticity says. Cool? Check that out. I think it's amazing. Heavy, man. Really? 20 pounds, maybe? I mean, it feels that kind of, I feel the weight of it. And I am going to, because we have gone through this far, give you the Alex Ross comic book cover. What do we say? None of these toys exist without the art, the artistry, the inking, publishing of the comic books. This is one of those we know and love Spider-Man Rouges. This is the Rhino, Alex Ross, Diamond Select Toys, Premier Collection statue, resin. Absolutely recommended. Absolutely recommended. I haven't seen a better Rhino, and definitely not a better Rhino for the price. But listen to the sound we put it down. That's heavy, man. Heavy. Cool. All right, let's move on. You know, where the Rhino ranks in the Spider-Man Rouges, probably not that high. Doesn't have any real powers. Doesn't have any, I mean, he's menacing and more sort of the burglary type, character set. Cool. Woo! I was super excited when I got him. This is one of the newer ones that came out from Diamond Select Toys again. This is a PVC statue of the Sandman. Look at that. You don't tell me that's not cool, man. Kane Marco. He is pretty character accurate. You can see here's our Alex Ross cover, and he's manipulated his fist into a large sledgehammer. In the iteration that we have here of the statue, he's starting to grow his fist, but you can see he's coming out. There's bags of sand down here. That's his base. His base is bags of sand. So he's pulling from that sand and recreating his molecular structure. And that's what you see. He's actually morphing back. So what you think is he's melting at first, but then you can see he's forming constructs. That is the Sandman. And they did a really good job of the detailing. See, that's his shirt from the comics. That's his shirt. I think Alex Ross may be slightly off because I do remember there being sort of a color difference in the variants there. So I like this version better than I like this version of the shirt. But everything else about this is right on. Look at the hair. Look at the waves in his hair. Let's compare that. Check out the waves in his hair. I think they did a great job here. Now the base is hollow core. You can see where it's pinned down there. Sorry for the middle finger. That's the location where it's pinned down. And weighted wise is not very heavy at all. This is, again, still just the PVC type. If you want to hear more about it, look for the full review, because what do? One short, one full for every one of these toys. So let me put this back. And, oh man, this was another one I absolutely loved. And this is the Hobgoblin. This is a Hobgoblin. So this is another super cool premier resin statue Diamond Select Toys. Boom pow. Boom pow. Boom pow. So you can see right there, we have number 2210 of 3000. I just made the cut, y'all. Woo! Okay. And check that out. Check that out. Check that out. So he has torn apart this Spider-Man costume. You can see this one part here where it's ripped apart and he's flying away. And then there's the other part here. And he is on his glider, and it is smoking. He is flying out of there. It is the Goblin glider, the Hobgoblin glider, excuse me, because we will take a look at the other glider here. And all of this is solid. Flip that upside down so you can see. Certificate of authenticity matches. The scales on his legs, the texture that they use for the suit all the way around. Continuing on to his saddlebag that carries the pumpkin bombs. So damn cool all the way around. I love the flowing nature of the cape that he's wearing, but it is inflexible. Remember, this is a resin statue. Most resin stuff is not going to have anything flexible on it. So boom pow. Very cool. I love it because he's ripping apart the Spider-Man costume. It makes it more dynamic that way. Now, I didn't have the Alex Ross, but I did have the old Todd McFarlane Spider-Man Hobgoblin setup. You can see there's some variable differences. There's more face here. He's more, I want to say, hidden here, menacing or maybe demonic in the comic book version of it. But the reality might be scarier because it is a human in there. So you guys tell me whether you like one better than the other, or they should go back with more darker face setup. But that's Todd McFarlane, the OG of the Spider-Man universe, that everybody modeled their stuff on. And this is our resin statue premiere collection, Diamond Collect Toys. So boom pow, boom pow. Now, what's cool about this is I opened this one up after I opened the PVC version of the Green Goblin. Now I'm going to take the camera and turn it around because in this setup here, whoop, we've got the Green Goblin. I'm going to try and move us around a little bit, guys. And hopefully no one gets sick. Well, no one's watching, so it doesn't matter. That's the Green Goblin right there. This might be one of the coolest things I've seen them make overall. This is all PVC, but it's got 2 holes in the back that'll allow you to put him on the wall. I am not doing this justice, so we're going to get wobbly for a second, y'all. Okay, there we go. So what you're seeing behind him, and I'm not going to move it, is the Alex Ross Green Goblin comic book. And you can see the Green Goblin up close, and it is fantabulous. Look down below is a giant cloud of smoke. And what you can't see right here is a tube. That tube is what's holding up the glider and the character. It's only got one other point of contact back here. It is so cool. And I really do wish that they would make more statues that would allow you to pin them to the walls. It would make it so that we weren't stuck only having them on the shelves. Now, I'm not complaining. I love the stuff that gets on the shelf, and I love all of it. Let's be real. I'm a toy rat. You know what I'm saying? So let me refix that. So you just saw the Green Goblin. After you saw the Hobgoblin, that leaves one left on here. Now, maybe we would not consider MODOK a specifically Spider-Man rogue, but I felt like he was close in that world. So yeah, he sits on the Spider-Man rogue shelf. Now, eventually, if I do another Spider-Man rogue, he might have to be relocated. But this MODOK is way better than the movie. Ant-Man sort of destroyed MODOK for me. Darren Cross becoming MODOK might have been a good part of the storyline if they developed it better. But let's take a look at the Alex Ross MODOK versus the Diamond Select Toys MODOK. And this is still PVC. This is not a resin. Okay? This is PVC, but this is a heavy guy. And he is super comic book accurate. Look at his face. MODOK! You know, you can hear his voice when you see it. But look at the little laser talking box underneath him. Look how they matched it here. He's got a laser position on the top of his forehead. That's their version of doing it there. You know, the arms you don't see and the feet you don't see, but you know, you can tell from this that he's got a giant head. Everything about this is comic accurate. How it's held up, MODOK is flying around in a chair most of the time. This Professor Xavier-esque chair style thing. And so here you can see the propulsion is pushing him up. It's creating a smoke area down here, which might be a little overkill if you think about how that he'd be propelled out with this much force. But it's still super cool. And it's sitting on sort of a metallic base. So it looks like a place that he might launch from. Holocore base on the bottom. You can see where it's pinned down. MODOK. Diamond Select Toys. Let me turn it around here. Ooh. Ooh. They did a really good job with the reference on this one. I just think if you're looking for a comic book accurate villain, they did a good job with this MODOK. And Ant-Man destroyed it. Okay. MODOK, going back on the show. Woo! We're flying, guys. We're doing great. How do I know? From all of you people telling me about it right now. Except, yeah, there's no one. There's no one telling me about it. Okay. This way, I'm going to start this way back so we can take a look at some Venoms and then the top level Rouges heading all the way back to the Spider-Man. Okay. Here we go. Venom. I waited for this guy for a while. It is not a new statue, but it is a cool one. And we're going to compare this one directly to the Kotobukiya statue that I have. Why? This is actually less expensive, and it's got more meat to it. It's weighted heavier. It's a larger scale, and there are more dynamic things happen as he's transitioning from Eddie Brock directly into Venom. Or vice versa. It looks like he's transforming into, because he's got more of him, you know, in the Venom suit than not. But you can see they show his back. Look at that. Look at the tendrils spreading. Look at the mouth as it's opened up all the way. The teeth. The teeth can be done a little sharper, I think. A little sharper. Now let's compare that. Hold on a second. Let's compare that. This is the Kotobukiya statue. All right. Yeah, man, I don't know. This sucker's still just badass. It is. Posing, this guy wins. Posing. Because it's menacing. He is in kill mode. Look at the teeth. That's what I'm talking about on teeth, man. That's what I'm talking about. You want to be menaced by a character? This is the one to get menacing. You want to see him transform? This is the one you want to see transform. 1/6 versus 1/7 scale. The bases, one is broken buildings, and this one is a street scene. Now, that's not something we see too often in the comic. This street scenes like this. And this street scene is broken up rock. What I guess if I don't like one thing, it would be this, that it was created in two pieces here. And so you can see that crack. But it does kind of reinforce the opinion that this street has been destroyed by whatever battle is happening. So you can see there's two pieces there. And it's hollow. It sits perfectly. It's perfectly weighted. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got light blue flux and paint all around it. Actually, this is the one, the light blue flux and paint all around it. This got little highlights of white on it. And this one and this one follow storyline accurate Venom. What don't you see in the stupid Venom movies? You don't see the spider. Why? Because they tried to turn him into an anti-hero. And Venom is not an anti-hero. He's a damn villain. Marvel, stop the crap. Sony, stop the crap. Not Marvel, sorry. I wish Sony had the Spider-Man universe taken away from them. Because they suck. Yeah, that's right. Sony sucks. You don't believe me? Sit through Madam Web and any variety of Sony Marvel-inspired movies, and you will see that they are the worst of the MCU. And I'm taking Sam Raimi's first two movies out of that category. He was the OG that created that, so no. Okay. Carnage. Rounding out the Spider-Man Rouges. Carnage. He's already turned his arm into an axe, and he is wielding said axe. This is really light. This is like 1/2 pound. That's how light it is. Although the character itself is super solid, the base is where it's super light. You can see that's way hollow core. If they would have filled this all in, this would be super heavy. He's got black tendrils running all up and down his body. and, you know, formulating what we would refer to as this mask all the way around. But then he's also got these little red rubber tendrils that are all around, and they are flexible. They're not going to break off, but they are flexible, which is actually kind of cool. It makes it feel a little bit more like it's a living entity through here. That is Carnage. Comic book accurate, I think. Let's see, do we have something to illustrate here? We've got a Carnage Reigns book, which it really doesn't harken back to this. But I really, if you have Venom, you gotta have the Carnage. You gotta have Carnage, and then we'll have to talk about all the other ones you have to have when they come out. But this is Carnage. Here you go. All right, we're gonna put that down. This is for the movie that's coming out soon that I hope is way better than Madam Web, and it's Kraven. Kraven damn near kills Spider-Man on more than one occasion. This is comic book accurate. His face sculpt is accurate. His body sculpt is accurate. He wears the cheetah pants. He wears a lion's face for a vest. He's a hunter. Came from Russia, I believe it is. And, you know, he kills things. That's what he does. He really does. So he gets called out to take care of Spider-Man, which none of the other villains can do, but he hunts. He doesn't just go trying to find, he hunts. So he's hunting animals all the time, makes him the perfect character to run after Spider-Man and try and take him out. And you're going to find, I hope eventually, once they get through the Kraven movie that won't have Spider-Man in it, that will eventually introduce him to Spider-Man. So you can see there's a few different rogue villains in this particular comic book here. There's the Shocker, there's Rhino, there's Sandman, but most importantly, we are looking at Kraven. So they took some liberties in some of the costuming here, but very close, I would say. This isn't the OG comic, this is a newer version, so, you know, I would say extremely comic book accurate. The guy weighs about a pound. He's got a forward walking dynamic pose associated with him. He's clearly walking through what looks like a cane forest, a bamboo forest that have been cut down here at the top. They swiped. And then he's just kind of rolling through. I don't like some of the ways they pinned him down. For example, here at the knee, he's literally kneeling into a tree, which it looks painful. And I don't know anyone who walks in this way where they're going to, even if they're hunting, sort of a crouch, sort of a, yeah, I don't know. It looks like he's doing plyo a little bit. So I think they could have done a little bit better on the pose side of things. The base is actually sealed up. He sits well. He's got some plant life on the back. There is no wiggle to him. So this is Kraven, the Hunter from Diamond Select Toys. This is a PVC statue. Awesome, character accurate. And if you want to have the Spider-Man Rogues, can't do it without having Kraven, people. You can't do it. So I'm going to put this back. Okay. Now we're getting to some of the OG territory. Not that Kraven isn't, but Electro. And we are talking about comic book accurate Electro. Not stupid Sony Jamie Foxx Electro, which I hate. I hate. Now, could you take better liberties with the movies on the mask? Absolutely. You know, maybe the costuming with the underwear over the leggings is a bit much, and that can be redone as well. But to go full Jamie Foxx and opposite it, I just didn't see it. It didn't give me anything to be nostalgic for. The character I didn't like very much, the way they created him, and you know, I had to feel sorry for him getting dropped into a stupid vat of electric eels. It was just stupid. It's a really stupid storyline and power set I don't like. But this is not that. This is comic book accurate. This is comic book accurate. Alex Ross again, guys. So he went for the OG, and look at that. Can you get much better in character depiction than what you're seeing right here? I don't think so. So this is, here again, it's about a pound, pound and a half. His base is a street side level where you can see he's robbed a bank. There are some, looks like bars down here, or money stacks. Money stacks that don't look like money. Yeah, they should have done that a lot better. That should look like money. I actually thought that was gold for a second. It's not. And then these two sacks right here. Clearly, someone is opposing him, and he doesn't care because he's smiling about it. You're about to get the shock of your life. That is Electro. PVC, statue from Diamond Select Toys. Super character accurate. Want to hear more about it? Guess what? We did the review. One short, one long. Go check it out on the channel. Just like you're doing this live right now. No, you're not. Hopefully you'll look at it later. Probably not. Have to cut this thing up. The next OG on the list. Whoo! Again, not Sony. Okay? No Chitauri weaponry from the Avengers. I see the correlation they tried to make. This is OG original Vulture. The old man, it is the old man. Now, the storyline behind the old Vulture was stupid too. So I don't care that they changed the storyline around. I just felt like they could have done a little bit better costuming and tried to harken back at least to some of the thought process behind the original Vulture. And instead, they were attempting to tie it to MCU Avengers and live and die off of the successes of the Avengers. So I'm not sure how well they did that. They have a base here of clear plastic at the bottom. The purpose of that is for weighting because he is pulled forward in front of the base. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Base is here. He's all the way out here. So they needed to extend this base out so that he wouldn't bloop and fall over as you weighted him out. He's flying away, but you can see Spider-Man has tethered him to this beam structure down here, which is on the ground. Not sure how he did that because he'd have to be lower than this point in order to shoot those feet, but I like it because it allowed them to create something that harkens back to Spider-Man without showing Spider-Man and give them a way to pin the character down. So he's actually pinned by these 2 points of his feet and nowhere else. Hence the need for this plastic piece here. Now, I'm not bothered by this plastic piece at all because not only does it hold him in place, but you can't see it. It's plastic and clear. So that is the Vulture. And before I put him away, yes, we do. We do have the Alex Ross Vulture. So you guys look at that, and you look at this, and you tell me it's not nailed. Now, could the feathers around his neck have been done better? Sure. Maybe we shouldn't have gone white entirely on the eyebrows, so you wouldn't look that old, look a little more formidable. Maybe that's a choice that we could have made differently. But the wings are great. I think the wings are great. Costuming is great. His costume doesn't feel like it's a, what was I trying to say? I guess skin tight as much. You do see some rib structure here, but you don't see any really great back muscles, which I appreciate because you're not going to see that through costuming, people. So this is the Alex Ross, and this is a Diamond Select Toy, PVC, and you can see comic book accurate. So I love it. I'm going to put it away. Live. Why do you go live? Because, because why not? Because what are you doing? Oh, okay. Like, I almost want to say I fought for this one. I didn't fight for it, but I definitely begged. The Doc Ock. The Doc Ock. All right, so, there's been Doc Ock in the universe, Marvel Universe against Sony. They didn't do a horrible job of recreating Doc Ock. I appreciate Doc Ock of Sony's version of the MCU because there's really no reason to throw him in a full, limeish green with orange gloves and so on and so forth. Back in the day, they would make a lot of things in green, and that, is supposed to be for like envy, and that's why they do it in green. But they don't do that anymore. In this depiction, Dr. Octopus is running through the city. Here's another street scene base. You can see he's taking out a light down here, and his tentacle is about to rip open the fire hydrant. And it already has, on this point here, there is a loose main that was broken. And as a result, the water is pushing up off the ground, and that is what they cleverly used to pin his foot down here, which I thought was awesome. I like the tentacle movement. They did a good job on the paint. It definitely looks metallic. This is a comic book accurate version of Dr. Octopus down to the face. Let's take a look at that. Ooh, look at his arms. I just love that. I thought that was really cool. And Alex Ross, what? You said he did one? You sure did. So we're going to pull that and slide that out real quick. Now, the toy went a little wider in the face. Alex went a little longer in the face, I think. They did a really good job of getting super close on the glasses. Check out the neckline. In here, it's more leather. In here, I think we would call that cloth, some kind of designed costume. You don't get a whole lot more than that, but this is the Alex Ross cover, man, which is so damn cool. And this is the Diamond Select toy, which is PVC. It's got a hollow core base down here. You can see where the pin locations are. Beep, beep, beep. And I think they did a really good job of giving me a street scene through here. This is an excellent statue for your money. Excellent statue for your money. Show me another Dr. Octopus for the cost that you can get this one for. That's more dynamic and more character accurate. And I'll say... I probably won't say it, but you know, you get my point. Ease back, people. All right. Okay, we are we're finally at the Spider-Man now, which, you know, is probably the most exciting part of the Spider-Man universe. Spider-Man. All right, we'll go straight Miles Morales before I give you the 160, give you the 17. This little guy here. This is Miles Morales. They're both Diamond Select toys, but I believe this is the one that came out of the Playerverse. So, in the Playerverse, I think they did a good, accurate job of Miles Morales Spider-Man. He is sort of skiing, flying, floating, jumping on a bed of hot electrical fire. Don't ask me what that is, because that's not typical. And then we have the base. Excuse me. We have the base here that's set down, which you see the red in the background, which is basically a giant spider. You've got Spidey himself in all the Miles Morales glory. So the Miles Morales costuming red and black. And he's got his fingers pointed like he's about to shoot webbing out here, but we're not releasing any webbing, which is fine. And then on the backside here, he's cultivated some sort of energy blast that's about to smack somebody. So some of that needs a little bit of explanation for me, but I really enjoyed this particular Miles Morales statue on the 1/7 side. So we're going to put that guy up here, and I will give you his big brother, which is over here. Ooh. That's cool, isn't it? Yeah, that's cool. So the Miles Morales street scene is what I'm calling this guy right here. Obviously, it's a little backwards. Things have, this is the building. Obviously, the light post has crashed. There's water streaming through the streets right now, and they use that to pin him down. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's good. I like the pose maybe better than I like the scene for some of the choices that they made here. The light post is bent down, literally from water or a fight, or him pushing water down from this main on the side here. Not entirely sure how the storyline fits through here. Like, I try to look at my statues and go, what's actually happening here? Is there a fight that I can see in my mind? No, not so much. It's already happened at this point, so I couldn't tell you a lot of what's going on. It's what's cool about it is they did do both sides, so you can put this pretty much almost any place. You can't put it on his back. See, they didn't texture out this side. They textured out this side, but not this side. Not a choice I would have made. I would have finished out the texture on this side. That couldn't have been that much more money. It's a really cool statue, and I appreciate what they did here. What I don't appreciate is mimicry, right? If you have a character, and this is Miles Morales, and you have a character, and this is standard Spider-Man, well, maybe we should make our bases slightly different? Ooh, wait a minute. Is that exactly the same base with exactly the same stand in both characters? Yeah. Did they do the coloring exactly the same? Yeah. The only difference between this and this is the color of the Spider-Man. That's disappointing because you want to be able to collect all of them and have a different frame of mind about what's happening in the story. Not that they just decided to cash grab and, repaint one of them and leave the pose exactly the same, which is exactly what happened here. Now, that happens occasionally, man. It doesn't happen all the time. But then you're forced with making a decision. Do I need to have both of those? Do I need to have both of those? Well, lucky you, because most of the time at the price point of Diamond Select toys, you can have them both. Now you just got to decide whether who goes where and where's the room on this setup here? Before let me put this other Spider-Man book up here to show you comic book accurate. This is not Alex Ross, but it is a Miles Morales Spider-Man, and you can see there's Miles Morales, obviously Spider-Man #1 there, and then here's Miles Morales. Comic book accurate to a fault, people, to a fault. So fantastic. I really enjoyed this particular sculpture, and I know that it is comic book accurate. So, Spider-Man time. Well, we just looked at one. We're gonna look at another. Okay, Spider-Man time. Remember, these are ones I opened last year. So, on the bell tower, single foot. This is not hollow. This is a fully closed-in base right now. You had to do that because they have them pinned at only one location, which is right here. Why I love this thing. He's not doing much but staring at the city. He doesn't have to be doing much but staring out at the city. But the way they weighted it, it doesn't want, I mean, yeah, you can knock it over, but it never feels like it's going to go anywhere. It sits perfectly on the shelf, and he's slender. He's not overdone. I love the way his feet are pointy. I love the way they did his hands. You know, it's not gripping. He's just feels like he's thinking about doing his next move. Listening for cop sirens or something. So cool. Happen to have very old book, The Assassination Plot, which I kind of thumbed through my Spidey books. I have a lot, trying to give me something that would be close. He's not standing on a bell tower here. If you've never read The Assassination Plots, I would recommend you try and find the books. It's fantastic books. It does have the Red Skull in it. You see that? And I show you this just because, not like you guys don't already know, but that is super Spidey accurate. So boom, pow, boom. That's Spider-Man on the bell tower. Put that over here. You know, I think I'm making a decision, guys. You don't get to see all the toys. Today, you're just going to see Spider-Man and the Rouges because, you know, I need you to come back. I need you to want to love these live setups. All right, so this is going to be the final one we look at, and all of the Spider-Man and Hulks have been looked at today. And this is the forced perspective Spider-Man, which is like, all right, yeah, this is my favorite one. I think I might say that a lot. I may say it too much. But why is this my favorite one? Because Todd McFarlane was my favorite artist growing up, and he was the one who created this band of webbing that shoots out and then twirls around itself. He was the one who created all of the crazy poses that you see from Spider-Man today. Before then, he was mostly just swinging, normal swinging. Here's a great one for Perceptions. This is part 505. And this is one of those Todd McFarlane wacky poses that you would have never seen from anybody else. There's a Wolverine in there that's pretty cool too. Attention to detail, people. Also, McFarlane was the one who created the wide eyes. Now, since then, we've kind of reverted back to a smaller version of that, but McFarlane took up, you know, a third of his face with 2 eyes. See that? That's a McFarlane sculpt, if I've ever seen one. Now, the forced perspective on this base, let me put this comic book back. The forced perspective on this base, check this out, makes it feel like he's already jumped and leaned forward because this is pushing back. See that? So you can see that. A little bit of fog, mist stuff happening at the bottom here. Maybe he's about to knock out, fight Mysterio. Something on the waterfronts in that order of magnitude. Not overdone in the back. The original Spider-Man back logo. The original Spider-Man insignia on the front. McFarlane with a little bit longer with the legs on these, my recollection. But everything else about this is super comic book accurate. It's PVC and hollow core base at the bottom. It's pinned down here at the top, which I can't see, which is in this globe. And this thing is solid and heavy. That is Spider-Man with the force perspective. Okay. Unbelievably, guys, that's probably about 1/3 or less of what got opened up in 2023. So that's the Spider-Man Rogues and all of the Hulks. If you enjoyed this, hopefully you ping me. Let me know you want me to do it again. I have all the stuff back behind here There's a ton of things that are back here. We've also got stuff on the shelves that you can't see, stuff in the closet, and stuff in another room. We have been super fortunate to be involved with our friends at Diamond Select Toys. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. The reason for anybody that I would recommend purchasing toys from them is quality and pricing. You're not going to be able to beat them with anywhere else. So, this has been Tony the Toy Rat with a live look at a lot, some, not even most, of all the things that got opened up in 2023. If you like what you saw, hit me up, ping me. I appreciate you taking a look. And until then, I think, I think I'm gonna end this live. So you guys have a fantastic rest of the day. This is Tony the Toy Rat. Out!